the ability to take up a Hecarim, which is technically a flex build. Sylas, obviously flex. Then you got Akali, Aurelia, Jace. At the moment, is Sylas showing itself to be that higher priority that you want to take it first? Now, in this situation, they have banned away Aurelia, one of the good matchups into the Sylas, but I think that this blind pick of Sylas on blue side is becoming into the disrespect territory. I think that Jace right now is in a very good spot. I think that I would like to see Flash Wolves potentially pivot this pick if it doesn't work this time.
I totally agree with you there. Now, Vega Squadron showing the flexibility they have in that bottom lane. Gadget will be getting his Nico. Played that 5 times in the regular season and only lost once. We've already seen him play it as well at this tournament.
And you think it's going to be bottom lane. That will be most likely an on-hit Nico. I do want to point out, however, that it has been played in other roles. You know, top lane has been able to pick that up historically. We did see a brief stint of Nico in the mid lane as well. So still flexibility in this draft. You never know where that Hecarim's going to go. So finally, we see the double flex coming out between Rather and Hanabi. This is something that Flash Wolves have boasted. Taking the Akali, they can now play it in both lanes, both sides of the map, and should have great pressure. They still have the AD jungler as well. So, you know, not all AP damage as of yet.
Yeah, having that little bit of physical damage definitely helps you out. Vega Squadron looking for their final pick of this second phase. Last time we saw them going across towards the Sejuani. This time it's going to be the Rise picked up. Expect that to go onto No Man's in the mid lane. He's played that a few times during their regular season.
Also has been played by Boss once, and you can kind of just chase the Akali anywhere with it. Is a fairly good matchup. In an ideal world as well, I think that Hecarim should do fine into the Akali. Has fairly good trading patterns once she goes into Shroud.
Yeah, I guess you Shrouds and you just swing your sword around. It's like, I'm scything, I'm scything.
I like it.
Yeah.
Definitely. I also wish we kind of had the camera on you and that is the outtake.
That's all right. I'm pretty sure they'll put it in the rollout at the end of the day. Paris is banned out here. There's the Sejuani banned as well. Pinching that jungle pool, but of course, Ananasek could always take the Hecarim into the jungle if they wanted.
One of us was going to read it phonetically, and I'm just glad it was you. I'm glad it was not me that did it. Of course, the pineapple potentially could go towards the Hecarim, but it is much more of a boss-flavored champion, I feel. It has been flexed, however, for the Vega Squadron lineup, and getting rid of, you know, Chelsea's ability to play the map here, taking away something like the Galio, does mean that he has to go towards a second tier. He wants to have teamfight impact as well as being able to play the map. So something like Tahm Kench can be there for the 1-3-1, but I certainly think would prefer to play Galio in this particular matchup.
Yeah, getting rid of the Shen as well for that global pressure. Tahm Kench is up. If we want to see Vega take it here, removes that 1-3-1 pressure from the Flash Wolves, as you said, and it means you can leave that final counter pick for last. Give either Boss or No Man something that can totally dominate the lane.
Yeah, and also helps out Nico, right? We're still talking about an 80 carry that is not the most mobile in the game. Sure, has the ability to go invisible, get some attacks, movement speed, but I think it would be a good answer here. That, however,
is Kha'Zix.
Is a surprise as well, because no priority going to be placed on Kha'Zix here. So unless they have a great response to a Tahm Kench, which is most likely going to be picked up here, then a big surprise that they've prioritized the jungler here without seeing either part of the bottom line.
So I'm just going to lay the seeds here. We have seen Vega Squadron previously take Jarvan support. There is always a possibility that one of these 3 champions alongside the Nico is a support, and they're just hardcore flexing on us. They're playing 4D underwater chess, where everyone else is playing checkers. I don't think it's going to happen, but I'll just put that out there because Vega have been known for these unique picks.
Yeah, certainly have. However, even though you can get some good brush control with Kha'Zix support, I have tried it before and it's useless. So not expecting to see it played down there. Also, the fact that they've gone the safest bottom lane kind of in League of Legends history in Ezreal Thomas Kench means it kind of hard to pick on that lane in any kind of kill format, unless maybe it's something like a Zac. We did see Zac Nico played once in OPL. It's good into Tahm Kench. I'm going to throw it out there just in case someone's been watching.
You have been regaling the benefits of Zac support into Tahm Kench for a while. We'll see where Vega Squadron decides to go for this final pick. It's going to be the Alistar. Oh, it's going to be the Zilean instead. Bait and switched at the last moment.
So Santas with another kind of cheesy pick down here in the bottom lane. Certainly not the member of Vega Squadron that we're used to flexing in kind of the MSI play-in so far. Has got a play on it throughout the regular season. I think that this makes the trading patterns terrifying for Nico, however. The ability to speed her up, get continual harass into both of these members that are going to be outranged, there's no really, I'm going to save you from this button with Tahm Kench, as there is like maybe a Varus Q or something coming across. So good trading patterns going to be opened up, I think, for Nico in this matchup now, not to mention the layering of CC. You know, Nico snare into double bomb, into Nico ult is about 6 seconds of don't move anywhere. See whether they can layer that for some kills.
And especially if it's on hit, you're getting all that percentage HP damage as well. So it's so difficult for the Tahm to play that lane. We'll watch it as it goes on. It looks like, once again, Flash Wolves, though, have decided for the 1-3-1. They're playing this Akali up towards the top lane. Boss will be trying to match it with the Hecarim from Vega Squadron.
Yeah, and we'll see whether that is going to be the kill lane that we want Flash Wolves to be able to open up the map for, because this is going to be a flashless Hecarim onto Summoner's Rift. Going with the Ignite teleport means that the kill threat will be there in the straight-up 2v2. Hecarim plus Kha'Zix with the ability to put an Ignite down could be a game changer, but if something goes awry and Hanabi gets a lead on this Akali, I expect him to tear the map apart.
Hanabi, such a consistent performer on Flash Wolves, was with them last year as well when they took down Gambit 3-0 at MSI. Now we'll see if he can once again put the team on his back, because that is what he's been doing throughout the regular season.
Yeah, and it's interesting, right? Because people would think when you see the Flash Wolves lineup, Betty's had some very good international performances. Why aren't they talking about this guy? He's considered, you know, second, third best AD carry within the LMS region, not necessarily playing around him a lot. We've talked about how much resources that they give towards Hanabi to create some form of pressure for them to play around. Well, I want to see whether he can create that pressure this game. We're expecting 7-minute Dragon into Rift Herald. Again, it's blue side of Summoner's Rift, and they have themselves the Tahm Kench. Still the Ezreal, however, I think has a better shot of gaining priority in this lane with Tahm Kench to keep him nice and safe. So, you know, pressure on Flash Wolves to impose their will on this game, because they didn't have any opportunity to do that last time around Medic.
Whenever they tried, Vega Squadron were in the right place just to react. Remember that 10-minute Rift Herald that Ananasik was able to steal away, and Boss came out with it in the end. Now Vega will just set up for a normal line of scrimmage here. Nothing really too inventive happening. It looks like Ananasik's going to start top side of the jungle, and Boogie's going to answer with his blue buff as well.
Yeah, see whether they do start off vision, try and create some havoc in early game pathing. You would say if Ananasik face checks Boogie, this is going to be a very bad matchup. However, if Kha'Zix ever gets anywhere first, isolation damage always becomes key in the 1v1. I think Boogie would want to trap an Anasik, however, and then an Anasik would want to try and get to the area first.
Rather trading onto No Man's here. Of course, the Abscond Abduct gives you that shield, makes it very hard for someone to trade back onto you, and No Man's only level 1, can't get the shield of his own.
Yeah, has 2 abilities level 1 with 2 empowered auto attacks, as well as the fact that can run that silly mastery known as the Aftershock. So, you know, probably one of the best, if not the best, level 1 champion in the game, I'm going to say.
And there's always the option for Ryze to run Aftershock himself as well. No Man's going for the phase rush here instead.
And I think that is a little bit more of a scaling rune, as once again gets hit by the combo and takes a lot of damage. The ability to do that, pop the ability to dodge out on skill shots, navigate team fights, as well as, you know, potentially long lanes, is much better if you think that you can survive the laning phase against the Sylas as well as the Rek'Sai.
That's what he'll be trying to do. Speaking of Boogie on that Rek'Sai, he's actually gone for a very interesting path here. Blue into red, into Krugs down towards the bottom side, whereas Ananasik is doing a full topside jungle clear.
Certainly puts Ananasik on a better side of the map for now. Once again, hitting on the fact that Boss is running himself that Ignite, should be able to, you know, bait in some trades from Hanabi, who wants to be using that passive as well. However, very nice ward spots out the Kha'Zix.
Backping's coming out on him as well. He can just go for the Scuttle Crab, maybe go into the jungle here to see what Boogie has left up on that topside jungle.
Yeah, and if he does do that, right, no ward available, running in blind against a Rek'Sai is always dangerous. But what do you find out? You find out topside camps are available. Potentially he's on my bottom side or his bottom side. Bottom lane all of a sudden should be playing incredibly respectfully. You can see that hasn't walked into top Scuttle Crab, so you assume he's there somewhere. You can see already pings out on the camps that they want to scout. And all of a sudden, you know, this lane of Gadget and Santos that has been able to kind of play freely, you know, they're in danger of a wave being built into them and being dope.
Quite a possibility. Now, something we have seen Gadget do is use the Shape Splitter to dodge out skill shots. He can tank up things like the Phase Seeker. He can tank up things like the Mystic Shot with that W. You have to look at it because he's very good at positioning perfectly, but it's so hard to avoid a gank from a Rek'Sai early on.
So instead of building the wave, they're letting it push back into them. They're trying to open up the path over the wall. You can see right now, Ananasik is in position to go for this gank. They've lengthened the lane enough that there would be kill threat if he's able to land the knocker.
Boogie ready to Barney in the bottom lane at the moment. Gadget and Santos aware something might be happening. Santos on the wrong side of this, flashes away, and Boogie will just accept the flash for nothing trade.
Yeah, and able to once again clear out enough of the jungle that is not going to be any trading on farm. Gets the added benefit of being able to take away Santus's flash. So I like the pathing early game from the Flash Wolves jungler Boogie. You heard Frostgreen a little bit upset with him, I think it's fair to say, during that Elder Drake fight. If you're a Flash Wolves fan, I can understand the frustration that she showed on the analyst desk. So better performance so far in this game.
Definitely is. Getting that impetus, getting that tempo up for the Flash Wolves is what we said we wanted to see from them. And we'll see if they can transition that into these dragon fights, into these skirmishes in the early game.
Because once again, even though they've got an Ezreal, this time around they do have better early game skirmishes in the likes of Sylas and Akali. So want to see them active on Summoner's Rift. I don't want to see them sit in this laning phase. This is when they've looked the worst, when they've just played nice and slow League of Legends. Instead, you know, look for some plays.
Tangle Barb used there on towards Shao, so he's going to be stunned up with the bombs as well. And Anasik jumping forward. That's very aggressive play. He's going to take a bad trade here as Betty just uses the missile, even jumps forward. Doesn't have Ignite or anything in this lane, and heal still available for Santa, so it's a little bit aggressive, but Betty showing why he is known as one of the best AD carries in the LMS.
The danger of going in on an Ezreal who's just being able to stack up the passive on the wave. You see Boss now trading aggressively topside.
Hanabi forced away with the devastating charge. Hanabi, of course, has the flash. Can use the shuriken as well. Teleport coming in behind him now, Boss. No flash on this Hecarim. Boogie on his way up as well, rather looking for the abscond up. Doug will lock him up in place, and Boss has nowhere to go. No level 6, no ultimate to escape. First blood to Hanabi.
And a much better gank from the Flash Wolves. They know that he's going to overextend for that trade because Hanabi has not shopped yet. You want to be able to chunk him out, potentially look for the kill. No level 6 on Boss meant that he had no way out. Opens up topside as well for Boogie to do some counter jungling. They need this top lane to get ahead, and already you can see about 16-ish hundred gold going to be in favor of the Flash Wolves.
Yeah, and about 700 of that is on the top lane as well. Gadget using the Shape Splitter just to force Betty back, but you can see that because it's double heal in this bottom lane, I don't expect too many kills to go down unless there's some jungle pressure coming in.
You say that, and then all of a sudden, you know, Xiaoxi flashes on someone and eats it.
I'm trying to curse it. I like to see the kills happen. Betty jumping forward. Gadget takes a little bit of a chunk there, but not going to be able to do too much more. Xiaoxi and Betty can just push in this wave now. They have about a 6 CS lead. With the Kleptomancy, that translates to, you know, about 300 gold or so in favor of Betty.
Yeah, it certainly does, and I was going to say that really have been just tanking a lot of these Kleptomancy shots right to the noggin here, Medic. Safest hands in the bottom lane right now certainly goes towards Santus. He's very good at catching some of those skill shots.
Noggin is actually the medical term for it as well.
Is it really?
Yeah. What we use, catch it, Shape Splitters away, trying to dodge away from Betty here. You can see the damage that does come out of that Shape Splitter passive with the empowered auto attacks.
And you would have to say with the recall timings across, you know, Tyr as well as Sheen once again secured here for Betty. And they've had a more proactive bottom lane, a lot more forward presence now for the Flash Wolves lineup. That was in part due to the early pathing of Boogie versus an Anasik, you know, targeting opposite sides of the map. But it makes the kill onto Boss all that more devastating. If you spent the early game getting your Hecarim to level 6, you know, trying to secure him some advantages, the fact that he threw it all away off the back end of some mindless aggression does really hurt if you're the Vega Squadron bottom lane right now.
It definitely does. You know, when you play the weak side of the map and you see your top laner just not being able to get any advantages, it can make for a long road on the struggle bus. But now with the Mountain Drake being the first dragon to spawn, we expect Flash Wolves to group around it. You can see once again, Xiaoxi unlocked from the bottom lane. It's only Betty down there by himself trying to clear out, and it means that he can now look for ganks like this. Gadget's now dead up, Boogie there, has the flash, can jump in, gets onto Santa's, Pop Blossom used as well, but Pop goes Santa's, the Gadget with the Void Rush, double kill for Boogie. Great stuff from the Flash Wolves jungler.
A huge outplay, was able to negate the CC from the Nico ultimate, gets the execute and should open up the Mountain Dragon for the Flash Wolves lineup. This bottom lane has been such a large target for the Flash Wolves medic. Now to find some success in the form of 2 kills and bottom lane push is a massive deal.
You wanted tempo, you wanted early game plays, what Boogie is delivering in abundance.
Certainly is, and a great time ultimate across 2 members there, and that's what I'm talking about. The ability to dodge out of crucial CC as a Rek'Sai, Devour there for the safety as well. And you can see that an Anasik now looking for mid lane play here. Not really going to be able to find all that much, however.
Karzik hasn't done too much for them yet. Moon Prison's going to land onto Ratha. Does have the flash if he ever gets caught out, and Dragon now going down to the Flash Wolves. 2,000 gold ahead, 8 minutes in the game. They have definitely upped the tempo in this one, and Vega Squadron seem to just be caught paralyzed.
Yeah, and if you're wondering, you know, why didn't they go for that play? Not only is No Man's out of mana there, they also knew that they were on mid lane and had the time catch ultimate. Now going
mid lane
towards mid. Was it going bot?
They were trying to save Ratha. And he was fine for the time being, as No Man's had to burn his flash. I think he burned it aggressively looking for the play onto Rather. That would be my assumption.
Yeah, it certainly could have been the case. And that's what I was saying. When you have Tahm taking Dragon, that is so easily just an impact of mid lane. You know, ulti in, bring the Rek'Sai with you, gobble up Rather there on the Sylas while turn the gang. So I like the patience zone from Vega Squadron. However, they do need to start winning a portion of the map. I don't care where it is, but an under 6 early pressure hasn't really done anything for his solo lanes. And bottom lane right now is getting destroyed.
Yeah, really, really struggling. And Gadget does have the flash, Santos' flash is back up, and you have the level 6, so maybe a little bit more safety down towards that bottom side now, Rather. You know, it's like, you know when you get on the subway and you only go one stop?
Yep.
That's what Rather just did there. It's like, I'm a little bit too lazy to walk this one. Maybe I get there a couple of minutes quicker.
How many miles is it, one stop on the subway?
I'll be honest, it would take me 4 minutes to walk it, and I've done it on the subway.
Ooh, that is some laziness. I actually in miles because I don't know miles.
Oh.
So whenever people say like, oh yeah, that's about 2 miles away, I'm like, yeah, come
We
again.
use kilometers in Berlin. Yeah, so it's probably about less than a K, I'd say. Yeah. So.
Good to know.
I'm glad we diverted from the League of Legends to have that quick discussion. Xiaoxi and Betty still doing a very good job here in the bottom lane, as you say, that Ezreal scaling up as well. Hanabi in the top lane has about a 10 CS lead, built that Seeker's Arm Guard first to deal with the rampage damage that comes out from the Hecarim, and now is in a very strong spot.
And I think even further away from just the lead that he's been able to generate, look at where he's now able to play. Like under that turret, exactly where he wants to be. If an Anasek goes for this, first rotation should come across from Hanabi. Boogie finding it much easier to play. He's kind of pathing towards objectives. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. You know, all of a sudden 3v2 topside because bots just cannot get here in time.
Yeah, see the difference compared to the last game. Abscond, Abduct lands onto an Anasek. He had to jump away, Rather caught out, but the steal away from the ultimate there by Rather. And it's so different. It was the same setup, but because of the way the map is playing, Flash Wolves able to take the Rift Herald and get out scot-free.
And let's have a look at what's different. You know, all of a sudden, 2 of the teleports had been burnt before that play is available. No longer can you get 5 members there. Thomas Kench in the hands of Xiaoxi. So no global ultimate coming out of Santos. So just a completely different way that you need to play this map. I think that Ananasik needed to recognize that that was an uncontestable objective and try and get something done on the bottom side. You know, take yourself the Rift Scuttler. Try and keep this lane a little bit more safe. Maybe push in for some turret plays because we're already 11 minutes. You need to have presence. You can't just track someone around when they're already that far ahead of you. Certainly so far, Boogie has done his job in this game.
See Pop Blossom coming out here from Gadget. They try and get the stun lock onto Betty. Betty has the flash, but just can't get away in time. Gadget will take the kill. Sped up by Santos as double teleport comes out from the Flash Wolves, and now it's going to be a 4v4 in the bottom lane. Flash Wolves trying to take the fight, Rather jumping in. Santos gets the chrono break though, and he will be brought back to life. Boogie fighting down towards the bottom side of it. His boss comes into the top side. Nomad's going to get caught out by Boogie. Santos brought back to life. Gadget still running for the wins as Flash Wolves continue to get the fight. And Anasik jumps back in with the blast go. Flash Wolves forced back. Unstoppable onslaught separates the team. Hanabi's so low, but he's able to survive, and they get 2 out of it. Hanabi's still alive. And Flash Wolves sweep Vega Squadron out of the bottom lane.
And they drop the Rift Herald to just add insult to injury. The mistakes now compounding for the Vega Squadron. Flash Wolves in control.
Boogie has been absolutely on point this game. 4-0-1 on the Rek'Sai, in the right place, at the right time, opening up the map for his team. And Flash Wolves show us they are here to party.
And game 1, all the mistakes there starting to be swept under the rug, starting to become a distant memory as Flash Wolves find their swagger. They got themselves the Dragon, the Rift Herald into the bottom lane team fight. This starts off very good. You can see Betty and Xiaoxi kind of being cheeky, trying to calm this down. As soon as the root lands, this was the first
yeah, you know that Devour is down, and so Vega Squadron can then take the fight.
Yeah, so then another route into the ultimate. As I said, so much CC, ability to be able to be layered there. Looks like a free kill. Teleports start coming in now. You can see that Boss hasn't got his available. A little slow, just due to that fact, so it has to be late. And a split fight everywhere. Hanabi using that Shroud, keeping everyone busy on the back line. Did Ananasik actually want to go back in here? He did. Deliberate choice.
He does it deliberately, but then immediately runs away.
Deliberate choice to come back in. I was going to say potentially a misclick, potentially not the play he was looking for. A lot of the I think I can mentality. Turns out he couldn't. And that leads to a big advantage now for the Flash Wolves lineup.
Just those minuscule things you see as well. If Boss had popped the ultimate a second earlier, and Anasik would be in the perfect position to sink those claws into Hanabi to start getting those kills rolling, but Flash Wolves just better coordinated on the day, and you can see now a 5,000 gold lead for them, taking that tower in the bottom lane.
And whilst we do have to be, very appreciative of the flavor that Vega bring to the draft, you also have to call out errors. And I think taking Kha'Zix, who is primarily an early game ganking jungler, pathing jungler, into currently the strongest early game pathing ganking jungler in the form of Rek'Sai, is something that has been told across the entire map right now. Anywhere Ananasik has gone, when he is matched by Boogie, he just has no options. You can't fight it, you can't out-gank it. Ultimate is much better on the Rek'Sai now, the fact that it's an execute, and I just think that has been a little bit caught off guard by the fact that Boogie's beaten him to these areas.
It just seems not to be in the right place at the right time. Do you want to bring just a little bit of attention to Flash Wolves as a team as well? Because after game one, it could be quite easy to forget the pedigree this lineup has. They've been to Worlds 4 times. They've been to MSI 3 times. No man's going to escape here as the Abyssal Voyage comes in. But they never missed a semi-final at MSI either. This team consistently shows up in the mid-season invitational.
No man's really did you a solid there.
Yeah.
Like, you were going into your narrative point.
I was watching it, and if he gets caught out, I switch.
Yeah.
It's what casting's about, sport.
But he just dodges out on everything there. That's a solid. Here we go. Not going to be anything happening topside either. And I like what you're talking about. This is a storied organization. AHQ made the first MSI, the one that EDG won. I just want to throw that out there as an LPL fan. Let that point sink in for a little bit. However, after that case, they've just been the constant representative of the LMS region, continually finishing first. Now you can see Gadget going aggressive again.
Good for the pop motion onto Xiao C, but can't quite connect with it, and Xiao C just gets away. Yeah. The Tangle Barb into Pop Blossom is a great CC combo, but you just can't quite catch out that time, can't you?
Yeah, you can see that maybe Santa's a little bit slow on the bombs. Whether that's going to be the last follow-up tool time and time again, we'll have to be wait and see. However, this is something Flash Wolves do a lot.
Ensemble Onslaught used by Rather in the mid lane as Hanabi looks for the fight underneath the tower. Twilight Shroud comes out as well. Boogie with a flash in. Ensemble Onslaught though, Rather spot pops the stopwatch. Doesn't really have that many ways to escape apart from the flash. And he will get out for the time being. Flash was able to execute the tower dive.
Yeah, Boss Archery uses the ultimate as well as the ignite. Not going to have many tools for the execute available, so decides to just stay alive. And we talk about the Flash Wolves' ability to play multiple lanes. That's something that I love to see. When your top laner, who is at the moment bottom, has priority and is able to move first, the ability to not just scout out the jungle and clear vision, but then rotate into a mid lane dive. Let's have a look at this, right? Was able to push all the way in, knows the boss right now is on a jungle camp due to very good warding, means that they execute on a 2v1 that then turns into a 3v1 dive. Use of the stopwatch here to be able to deny any form of return kill, and the flash, because that's his lane, doesn't want it to get fed. It was actually rather not feeding Hanabi's lane. Very nice job there for the mid laner. I don't know, I would have expended 2 of my most important resources to protect my top laner.
I think I would.
Obviously a good guy.
I think I would. But yeah, it's all about that vision control as well. The control ward actually spotting out the Unstoppable Onslaught coming in time, so you can pop the stopwatch. And Flash Wolves have just gained total control over that bot side of the map.
Yeah, and this is what we talk about when we're talking about strong side versus weak side. So you have a look at the vision that they have on this quadrant of their map and the ability to be able to spot the early rotation. Then you contrast it with what they're playing on the top side of red side. They don't really have all that much. So the fact that right now, Flash Wolves are playing heavily around their solo laners, Betty potentially caught out. Boogie.
Santa's caught out. Chrono Break. A Chrono Sip is available for him. Pops it just in time. Jump away from Ananasik as well, but here comes the Pop Blossom. Doesn't catch onto anyone. Flash Wolves scatter and then re-engage. Go back for the fight. Pushing forward underneath these towers. Can't quite get any much more out of it because No Man's is on the rotation. Boss up towards this top side as well.
And you can see just a shift of the map into the right areas. No Man's and Boss this time around read the play a little bit better. Are able to dissuade the dive that was coming. However, Boogie's still not done. Wants to get something done on this top side of the map.
Boogie wants to dance with Vega up towards this top side. Underneath the tower could look for the dive. No chrono shift available for Santos, and Flash Wolves just chipping away at the tower. Ezreal so powerful at doing it. Essence Flux in, takes down the tower. The chase in from Rather with the amps gone. Gadget sped up by Santos, and he will run back towards safety.
Yeah, so able to disengage, but still the turret falling. You see Hanabi now cheating back down into that bottom lane to collect all the farm. Flash Wolves right now are showing their prowess at putting pressure in multiple areas of the map. Frostgurun spoke about it very well. They want to be setting up one objective like the Dragon whilst also getting vision somewhere else. They went for the mid lane play. They got the ward over the back of Baron Pit into where the Blast Cone is. Then we're looking for the top lane play. At the same time, now you have the rotation back into the bottom lane, setup of your 1-3-1. Flash Wolves, when they have control of the game, look very clean. It's just that last game, they were playing off the back foot for the entirety of it.
have to see if Vega Squadron are able to play from the back foot this game at a big disadvantage. 6,000 gold behind, 18 minutes in, 7 kills to 1. Double Dragon on the side of Flash Wolves as well with a Cloud up in 8 seconds. The control is all in Flash Wolves' favor. But Vega do have scaling. You know, you've got to rise so powerful in the late game. Then on-hit Nico only scales up when she gets towards that Ginzu's, gets towards those 3 items. The question is, can Vega hold on to enough of their base before Flash Wolves go in? Pop Blossom, pop. There's Gadget turning it around. The stun lands, the Chrono Shift out as well. Tahm Kench on his way up. There's the teleport. And now Gadget is in a world of hurt. Santos dodges away from the Mystic shot. Gadget trying to escape with the Tangle Bars, but Xiaohu is on the chase. The Shape Splitter. Gadget's going to run up. Santos down. Betty is just there waiting for the kill. Takes it out. Double Mystic shot, double kill, and so much pressure here from the Flash Wolf.
And at the same time, soloing out the Drake, once again being active in multiple areas of this map, using your global composition to be able to gain advantages everywhere. And that was a very nice interaction from Radha. You know, uses a Pop Blossom, and then in the same time, Gadget uses his. He says, that's cute, mine actually does damage because I have ability power. You don't at this stage of the game. And you can just see, you know, all of a sudden, the entire map is littered with Flash Wolves War. They're playing both sides of the top. You have Xiaoxi rotating between 2 lanes, ability to be able to save multiple members, and Vega just look like they're out of options. They're already 8,000 gold down in this game. They're weaker, and they're not able to find the same capture.
You can see here, like, they think they got Radha. They think they've caught him out. They missed the Tangle Bars, and the chase is on.
Yeah, and this is the thing, right? You have teleports available, but you don't have a Tahm Kench ult. You can't get there in the same speed. They also are willing to invest even more. You know, Hanabi's teleport coming out across, so...
See? A fight happening here. And Anasik caught out, devoured, but they will get the kill. It's Xiaoxi that falls rather dead as well, and maybe Vega Squadron can just go straight for the Baron. They will clear out the vision. You have to feel there's a desperation call that's going to go on here. Vega Squadron will take it. Betty has the teleport. He's going to get back to base and then come back into the fight. Flash Wolves trying to do something about this Baron being started up. Boss is down to half HP. Here comes Betty with a TP. Hanabi, perfect execution, not quite available yet. He's got chased out. The Twilight Shroud, the Pop Blossom will stop him in its tracks. Stunned up, and Anasik's going to jump the wall as well. Perfect execution comes back for Hanabi, and he manages to escape. Oh. Teleport, use the blast cone. No, Hanabi still able to survive. Stun onto Radha, but now Flash Wolves can step forward. They can take the tempo, they can take the pace straight into them. The Pop Blossom from Radha. The blast cone's there. No man's shielded up. Blast cone's going to knock him back into the rest of Flash Wolves. Chrono Shift used, and now the teleport coming in from Vega as well.
Yeah, Boss looking to rejoin the fight.
Betty gets the kill onto an Anasik. No man's called out as well. Flash Wolves find the double, and the rest of Vega Squadron have to disengage. Boss, no unstoppable onslaught for him. Santos heals up. True Shot Barrage going to catch on Gadget. The Tangle Bards will lock out the rest of Flash Wolves. Down towards the bottom side. Xiaoxi is looking for the flank position here, and he's going to find them. Vega Squadron caught out in their own jungle. Bogey flashes forward with the knock-up, and it's all Betty all the time. 4 kills for none in favor of Flash Wolves.
And they're going to grab a Baron off the end of what was a 2-minute Yakety Sax queued Fiesta on the top side of the map. It looked like Vega had the picks. They got desperate, Naik. They looked for the answer to come back into the game, and then just gave it all back on a silver platter.
Flash Wolves able to find the fight. They came in, thought maybe for a moment they would be at the wrong side of that as it was a 5v3, but it was back and forth, and bit by bit, they just chipped away at Vega Squadron. They get the Baron out of it. Xiaoxi maybe stayed around a little bit too long here, has the heal, the slow onto an Anasik will catch him out. Teleports coming in from Vega as well. They just want anything. They want any kills they can find in this game. Thick Skin used, the stun's gonna land, and Xiaoxi's just running away. This is the jungler and the support trying to chase down a Tahm Kench. She just can't do it. Flash Wolves are too strong.
Yeah, they certainly are at this stage of the game. And as you mentioned, Vega, they just have to look for anything possible. Full retreat now into the jungle as they look for the reset. They probably have one more desperate play, 11,000 gold. But let's have a look how this starts off. So Hanabi must buy time. He is, however, an Akali and one of the best champions at being able to do so. Stays in the Shroud, gets a 3-person mini stun, flashes away, and executes over the wall. Hitting that blast plant nearly sent him right back in. However, is able to channel the recall. He's done for the rest of the fight. Now it's up to Radha. Aggressive play, flashing over the wall, looking for No Man, who is really the only threat left. Will be revived here, but as he is separated from the team, it becomes quite difficult to defend him. And off the back end of the entirety of this fight, you see how quickly they're willing to commit. You know, they send Tahm Kench around on the long journey already. He's going to look to the flank, and this is what I mean. They play multiple areas simultaneously while making very good decisions from ahead.
Yeah, just pulling Vega all over the map. Gadget has to use the Chrono Shift We'll get back to the fountain. Wasn't revived there, but Flash Wolves now breaking through the second tier of towers. 6 towers to 0, 12,000 gold lead, 24 minutes in. They are dominating Vega Squadron, and what a turnaround this is from game 1.
And because they don't have teleports available, let's just play 2 lanes if you're the Flash Wolves. Let's take that deep breath that we need. And Anasik, however, looking for Hanabi.
Jumping forward, would use the Void Rush to try and get away, but Boss done. Boogie is dominating, double kill for him as well. Flash Wolves giving no quarter, giving no inch to Vega Squadron as they just choke the life out of Vega.
And Vega showing what they look like when they're desperate and behind. This time not making the correct decisions. Going to get pushed in here might just be the end of the game.
Flash Wolves showing us why they have been to 7 consecutive international events, showing us why they always make semi-finals at MSI, showing us they cannot be counted out. Gadget's going to jump in with a Pop Blossom as Flash Wolves going for the Nexus towers here. Vega really have no defense left. It's a 3v5 and Flash Wolves continue to push forward. Pop Blossom comes out as well. Double kill over to Hanabi. Give them it all. Give it everything. Flash Wolves equalize the series at 1-1.
And it's going to be a sub 25-minute victory for the Flash Wolves. An absolute shellacking Mimic at MSI. And really, they controlled the pace of that game to a much higher standard. This is what we want to see out of Flash Wolves League of Legends, the ability to play towards the neutrals, get your solo lane snowballing, and outclassing the Vega Squadron lineup this time around.
And I think there were times where you did just see that impatience from Vega Squadron. You saw that bit of desperation. They were like, we have to make a play, we have to do something. But by the time they were making those plays, they'd fallen too far behind.
Yeah, and you have to talk about why that's the case, right? The class of Boogie to come back after a disappointing Game 1 performance and then completely take a Nanasik apart. You know, the pathing towards the top side of the map was good initially from Nanasik, but Boogie just seemed that he got so much more. There was more threat on the dive bottom lane than there ever was onto the Akali. And as soon as they swung the top lane play with Ratha's teleport, you just went to losing all 3 portions of the map for Vega and no way back into the game.
Got to give credit to Betty, of course, as well for that game. His ability just to find positioning in team fights. Yes, he was facilitated well. Yes, he had a great front line. Yes, everyone was killing everyone, but Betty was always there in the right place.
Weak side AD carries are one of the best tools to have in League of Legends. The ability to generate pressure and priority after, you know, the first 5 minutes, whilst not getting any resources really dedicated to you, unless they look for the major play, you know, a couple of teleports, is certainly really good from the Flash Wolves lineup. And the fact that they have good map presence as well on things like Ezreal and Tahm Kench only helped out as the game progressed.
Well, I have to see if Flash Wolves can continue this form in the rest of the series, but for more on how Game 2 played out, we're going to hand it back to the State Farm analyst desk.
Thank you, Medic. The bounce back out of the Flash Wolves after suffering a loss in Game 1 to even it up. Now we sit 1 win apiece for each of these teams. I want to dive straight into Champion Select because after Game 1, we were talking up Vega, this, you know, ingenious drafting and some really, really cool stuff along with the unique picks that they have and what it allows them to do. This time around, things were going well for quite some time, and then there was a very specific moment where the two of you went, I'm sorry, what?
I was all aboard the first half of the draft. I was like, okay, we got like a Rise, we have a Hecarim, you know, the Nico came out. I'm very excited for it. As soon as we go into second phase of draft and Vega ban, I believe they took away a support.
Yeah, they took Varus and Galio out.
Varus and Galio out. I'm like, okay, they're going to pick Tahm Kench right here. They're going to not deny it away from Xiaoxi because it's a massive pick for him. They'll have kill pressure because obviously want the Nico. They want to do something fun down there. And then immediately left turn and they hit a Kha'Zix. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? There's no priority on Kha'Zix right now. Why would you pick this?
Yeah, I was surprised Flash Wolves didn't ban the Tahm Kench themselves because, you know, it feels a lot more telegraphed. You have a Kali and you have Silas, like this all-in team comp for the
Kench
most
just
part.
gobbles them up.
Kench is great into that, and then they don't ban it, so I think Flash Wolves made a mistake, but then it gets outdone by Vega. I will say for Flash Wolves, I do like that they took a more proactive top side of the map. I didn't like the GP as much last time. You know that the enemy team's going to do weird stuff. Early games are going to become very important. You don't need to scale for late with the GP, so I like the more aggressive top side of the map as well as what their bot lane does.
I just feel like this is a scenario where they saw the Silas and the Akali, and they're like, it's fine, we don't need the Tahm Kench. We have like the Zillion, which can answer the assassins because you just bring them back to life. But again, imagine if you grab a Kench right there, you don't go for the Zillion reveal, and then maybe like grab a Kindred. Just like a little bit of something special on top.
Yeah.
Kindred can also skirmish a lot better across from Rek'Sai. I just think this was amazing until it wasn't, and that's what collapsed the game.
Yeah, it definitely fell apart there in the last couple of picks for Vega Squadron. But of course, they drafted the tools I will assume, wanted, right? As Tahm Kench was available, and they elected not to go for it. But very much the game revolved around the bot lane, at least for a fair amount of the game. We saw Ananitic going back down there multiple times to try and make something happen, trying to play around that Nico, but the Tom Kench able to stave him off.
Yeah, I mean, Boogie hit the lane early and started blowing some of these summoners with this hop over the wall. And, you know, Zillion's one of these picks that when he doesn't work out, it looks very bad. And so, you know, we saw the Sentis take it. You're like, okay, maybe this will work out. Cast a flash right away. This is super early on in the laning phase. And then Betty, as soon as he felt like there wasn't threat on him, started playing super aggressive, shifting forward into 3 people multiple times, stuff like that.
And he gets to have that confidence because he has Xiaoxi on the Kench behind him. Anytime Betty uses his arcane shift aggressively, he could just be repositioned. You can see Rek'Sai also getting repositioned right now. And so I just feel like it's like buy one, get one free when you take Tom Kench away from Flash Wolves. It's a champion they're so comfortable on, it empowers them so much, and you want to play semi-global against them. It works so well in game number 1 for Vega Squadron. Take away the Abyssal Voyage. Don't give it away for free. Stop playing Zillion.
Yeah, definitely going to have to see how the teams adjust going into game 3 with champions like that. I have a feeling, unlike the last series, this one will revolve a little bit more around the picks that each of these teams come away with. But the next piece of this conversation that I want to jump to is how the teams look when they have a lead, because we talked about Vega in game 1, longest game of MSI, where they felt like they were in control starting at the 20-minute mark. Took them over 20 minutes to close it. This time around for Flash Wolves, they get that lead and they know what to do with it.
Right, I mean, this is the whole concern we had at the end of the last game. We said, like, yeah, Vega won, but it looks super difficult. What happens on, you know, when it doesn't go quite as well? And just, they got obliterated by Flash Wolves. Game's over. It felt like at 15 minutes. I'm surprised it took even longer than that. It just felt like there was no hope after the early game. And Vega played super long games, even in their own group, which they dominated.
It feels like a scenario where if you imagine like 2 boxers coming in to fight each other, and the Flash Wolves, one boxer just looks clearly better than the other one, but the composition in game 1 gave them like an Iron Man suit, and they were just like punching down. And then this time around, it was more of a fair fight, and you got to see the class difference between these teams in terms of their synergy, how they set up and execute on a map, and how they can close out and run away with gold leads.
For the record, I would watch that form of boxing.
I think
You saw it in game 1.
Yeah, each team is given 10 minutes to build a suit for their boxer. No, I mean, in all seriousness, I do like that analogy. In that very much, you know, when you look at composition, it is like, you know, what you're arming yourself to go into battle with. And the first time around, it felt like Vega, you know, had more outs, I guess is a way I would describe it, that, you know, from an even or ahead state, they had lots of options. In this situation, from an even or slightly behind state, they just felt doomed. And that's your point about the Zillion looking bad. It looks even worse, you know, it just looks bad.
Yeah, and I think the nice thing for Vega in some sense is like this probably isn't the last recipe they have of like crazy team comp. Like, and you'll see something completely different next game probably, and Flash Wolves won't be able to ban all this out. I assume Flash Wolves stays blue.
They do exactly that.
I doubt they ban Nico next game. You know, it seems like that's the play.
I do think, though, that the Flash Wolves at least have also figured out how they want to approach draft. I didn't like that they put Hanabi on a backseat with the Gangplank. I love the agency and the proactiveness of Akali. It probably won't be Akali again, but I assume something like an Aurelia, these power play picks that can eat up a map.
Well, with the series tied at 1-1, I do want to recognize a standout from this game. Our MasterCard player of the game for the second game of this series does go to Betty. We talked a little bit about how, you know, Boogie got into the bot lane to get it rolling, but this guy brought it home on the Ezreal. And
he's one of the guys that Flash Wolves this year, even domestically, turned to be a bigger carry. Ezreal's always been one of his best champions and absolutely took over this game after initially having a very strong laning phase.
Well, we got ourselves a series. The Flash Wolves have bounced back with a dominant win in game 2. We'll see if they can take us to match point after this.